Oh, it's so exciting. I can't believe it. And it's right at 2:01. So thanks for joining us here today. We are going to be recording this. And so if you have to leave, that's fine. But this is always important to know that turn off everything that's not important and make sure that you silence your phone, close your door, and just be here with us for 30 minutes because we have some great information to share with you today. And let's kick it off, Shannon. So if you don't know me, I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc, and you are joining us for 7 clever ways to use text messaging in your business. If that's not what you're expecting us to be talking about today, then I don't know what to tell you. Hang around and you might learn something new. But that's where we're going. And we're going to start off here with actually, you want to switch to the next slide. This is our agenda. We're going to talk about text versus email. The 7 clever ways to use text. Compliance, what does that even mean? What is the how do we do that? How do you humanize texting? And then how do you build an opt-in list? And whatever time we have left over at 2:30, then we will answer your questions, and all of your questions can be answered afterwards if we don't get to them today. So I'd like to start off with a quick poll of you, and we're going to launch it. So there you go. How much do you know about SMS marketing? Do me a favor and just vote. You'll see it right there. Should be seeing it right on the screen. Either I know nothing about using text messaging for business, I've done some with my business, but not much, or I'm a total pro when using for my business. So I'm going to close this out in about 10 seconds. So vote real quick for me. Just click it right there, one or the other. Just make a choice. You can do this. Come on, come on. We're at 83%. Come on, you can do it.
Bob, are we getting confirmation in the chat that they can see the survey? It's odd that we can't see it. We saw it.
Oh, I didn't let you vote because if you saw it, you could vote. And that's just not fair. You can't do that. So with that in mind, I'm going to end the poll so we can move on. Look at this. I know nothing about it. We have an even split and we have no pros except you two on the call today. So I'm thrilled to have both Jason and Shannon join me for this educational moment. They're joining us from Utah. I'm in New York, and thanks you for all of you who have told us where you are in the world. I'm going to turn it over now to you, Shannon, and take us through the excitement of SMS messaging.
Thank you, Bob. I have to compliment you on your energy. It is unmatched. I know nobody with such good energy as you. It's amazing. Thank you. And thank you for being my ultimate stall man. Appreciate you.
There you go.
All right. So hi, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time today. We all know how busy you are, and it makes it that much more of a compliment that you've taken time to tune in. So thank you. As Bob mentioned, my name is Shannon Blake. I work at Podium. For those of you who have heard about Podium, we're an interaction management platform. I won't go too deep into that. You can look up what we are later. But I manage all of our retail partnerships here at Podium, and Bob and I have a relationship, mutually beneficial relationship, and decided to do a very educational webinar for all of you to put a spotlight on this new sexy advertising solution using text called SMS marketing.
Wait a minute, I thought email was sexy. Isn't email sexy, Shannon?
Email is like, email is used. It's very popular amongst businesses. We're not here to say don't do email marketing, but we are here to introduce you to an alternative so that you can diversify your advertising and abilities to market.
Nice.
Yes. So if you take a moment to read this stat, and in fact, I'll just read it out loud because it's very powerful. When was the last time you got a 98% open rate on a marketing email? For those of you that are familiar and do this as a business, which is probably most of you, you're looking at probably around, and I think I have the stats right here, 18% average email open rate and a 2.6% click through. Bob, does that resonate with you, or are you proud to?
My audience who's here with us is much better than that. But yeah, I aim for my average open rate is around 36 and the average click through is about double or triple that. But it depends on what I'm talking about, right? Isn't that the challenge with email, is knowing, how do I get you to respond? Whereas text is a lot more immediate and you really know what I want to hear about, right?
Yep, absolutely. And something I want to highlight, most businesses are doing email marketing only about, and I even think this is really a little bit higher than what I would imagine, 12% of businesses are doing SMS marketing. So if you think about that, you can be an early adopter in this and start using this powerful way to advertise and get promotions out there before it becomes saturated. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll just wait until it's more popular, you're really doing yourself a disservice, because this is a chance to be one of the early adopters before it does become what we look at email marketing as today.
And I imagine that varies by generation too, doesn't it, Shannon? That, I'm a boomer, and if a business doesn't know me and they text me, that would be different. But I think if I'm in my 20s, it's expected, right?
Actually, Bob, we've done a lot of research on this because Podium is a text company. So we've done a ton of research, and it doesn't turn out to be that case. I don't know about you guys, but my grandpa and my grandma are some of the most commonly individuals to text me. So it's actually not just for the Gen Zs and millennials. We see adults of higher age also texting regularly.
So put in the chat bar, who do you think chats more, boomers or young people? Yeah,
you'll win that argument. I'm just simply saying,
because we're all old on this. Is that it?
No. No. Okay. I think it's just simply to say, if you think, oh, all of my customers are over the age of 50, they don't text, I would beg to differ. So, okay. Yep, that's a myth, actually. All right, so here's some other numbers for you to look over. So we already mentioned 98% average open rate for SMS advertising, which is mind-blowing. 95% of those texts are going to be seen within 3 minutes. If you guys go to your email inbox right now, you probably will see a slew, if not hundreds and thousands of emails that you maybe haven't gotten to yet. Whereas if you pull up your cell phone, tell me how many unread texts you have or unopened texts. Probably not many. So just think about that. That really does show the power of it. You've also got some fun stats like 209% higher response rate than phone, email, or Facebook. And again, I'm not here to tell you to stop doing all those things and move everything to SMS. I think it's all about, the message is all about diversity, is trying out multiple different options and just comparing them against one and the other on the ROI that you're seeing. All right, I'm sure you've read through some of these other points, so I'm just going to move on for the sake of time. So we talked about how SMS marketing compares in regards to open rates, but I thought this would be a really interesting slide for you to see, to compare some other ways that you may be advertising today. So this top piece right here is just showing, for example, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me just move this bar. That SMS via Podiums, we also have a service that offers this type of advertising through our platform, is 10 cents per send on average. And you can kind of scroll down through here, and these may resonate with you if you're doing some of those things, but those are just to compare price against SMS, and shows how affordable doing SMS marketing can be, as well as when you think about what that open rate looks like, it really does prove to be a better ROI overall. All right, let me go to the next slide. So as we mentioned in the title of this webinar, we thought it would be fun to go through 7 really clever ways to use SMS marketing, because when you hear that topic, you might think, oh, it's how I would send out that I have a Labor Day sale going on. And although that is a very commonly used way and reason to send one out, there's so many other things you could be thinking about to really strategically use it. So I want to talk about this first one. Businesses today are starting to realize that, and Bob, we're about to talk about your young Gen Zs and younger kids. They want to do business with a company that has a deeper purpose than just, I sell furniture, I sell music equipment. They have this, and it's so, like, I love this about them, but there's something about it that needs to have heart at the center of the business and have a deep purpose. So if you're promoting community events, or maybe you're doing something collaboratively, maybe you're putting on an event where they're coming to your furniture store, there's a barbecue, and you're also collaborating and promoting with another business to drive awareness to a charity, for example. This is a great way for you to get the word out about this event. Yes, you can still promote it through your email and through every other channel. Maybe you've got signs up at your work, but this is just an additional really powerful way to get word out to your community about what you're doing to support events that are happening and events you're part of.
That's a great point, Shannon. And Justin Rudd, who's down in Long Beach, California, California. He uses that platform all the time to say, hey, we're going to be doing a beach cleanup in 2 hours. Why don't you join us here and bring X, Y, and Z? And, you know, he has a following that he's built over years, but it's built on that immediacy, right? Because an email is like, join us in 10 days when we, and you're like, whereas there's an urgency, I think, right? You wouldn't do this for join the community event in 5 weeks or something. It really is that immediacy that you want somebody to take action. Isn't that kind of the difference, Shannon?
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that you know it's going to be open immediately, you have the luxury of time. Like it's not like they're not going to see it for a few days, right? So yeah, it can be something that's immediate and you can know with confidence that it's going to be seen. All right, just going down, I won't go into all of these because I'm sure you're reading through these, but just really highlighting that piece. If there's a charity that you support, for example, I know Maloof is really supportive of stopping child sex trafficking. And so being able to use this tool to get word out about, you know, reminder, a certain percentage of the proceeds from each sale go to this charity. This is just a great avenue in which to get the word out about that. COVID has put us in a lot of interesting positions as business owners on, now my hours are different, or people aren't coming into the store because they don't know the precautions I've put into place. So now there's a really easy way to get the word out about anything you're changing. Maybe your hours are changing by the month, depending on regulations in your particular city. This would be a really great solution to get the word out about that.
And the other thing I would just add is with new inventory available, you know, so many retailers right now, Shannon, are riding a tailwind of demand, right? Like you're a bike store, you're a sewing machine store, you're in photography, I mean, there's a lot of you out there that are saying, wow, we're so busy. And the problem with that is that the supply lines are still broken. So instead of waiting for me to call Shannon, where the hell's my whatever it is widget? Shannon could just send a quick little email. Hey, Bob, just letting you know that couch that we ordered, it's been received by the manufacturer. They have pushed out the delivery date by 3 weeks. If you have any questions, call me. I'll keep you updated. Then you've just put the fire out. But we don't do that. And that's the problem, I think, Shannon, is we don't really use this so smart. Or if I'm selling to Shannon right now, I can go through and instead of going through and letting her take a picture, I'll be like, hey, let me take a picture. Where can I send it to? And now I send it to you. And now I can follow up, or they can follow up directly. But I shouldn't get ahead of how we get their text numbers. Sorry.
You're good, Bob. And I love that you brought up the stock one. That's so relevant right now because you're exactly right. There's a lot of businesses dealing with that. Here's the most beautiful thing. So there are a lot of solutions out there to use to do SMS marketing. I'm just going to mention Podium's a feature that Podium has that is a differentiator because I think it's important. Our SMS marketing feature is two-way textable. So this is not you communicating out that you now have inventory in stock and they can't reply, which I'm sure a lot of you have experienced SMS advertising where it's just information and there's maybe a question or clarification point you wish you could ask really easily. Well, with Podium's SMS campaign feature, you can. It's two-way. So look at these examples again and think about the power of now you're engaging with your customers on these topics. If they have points of clarification needed, it's that easy, just them texting you and you texting them back.
And one thing I like, I know this isn't the sales thing, but I just wanted to say that one thing I like is using a system like Podium where everybody can answer the text. So it's coming from Bob's shoe store and it's not from Jane something from some weird area code that I don't know and I can't track and I don't know what you said to her because it's on Jane's phone and yet Tony is the one who's really handling it. So we don't know what's going on and that doesn't really look so great. So wherever we can come up as a unified brand, I think that really makes sense. We can continue on. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking. So
I love it. No, that's a really good feature of ours. Thanks for highlighting that.
Can I add something to this one, Shannon? I think another one, we can even make this 8 clever ways, but as I was reading through some of the goals that those on the phone call had, some of them were increased reviews, right? To get more reviews for my store. A great way to get a review is through a text because it's direct to a consumer's phone. You click on a link and they can get a review for your store to increase your customer satisfaction ratings online. So that's another way I think that's not listed here. But if you're looking for reviews, do it through text. It's powerful.
Yep, love that.
And the retail doc delivers 8. You came for 7, you got 8, maybe 10. All right, keep going.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to keep going here. All right, so I'm going to turn the time over to Jason, and
Yay.
he's going to jump
Compliance.
into compliance because there's a thing called TCPA. It's the guidelines with texting, because the reality is you can't just start texting anyone you want an advertisement. So he's going to go into rules and regulations and best practices when it comes
Okay,
to.
just breathe. This is the
Breathe.
part
This
where
is
Jason gets a little
yeah.
scary. He'll make it easy. All
This
right.
is the part where they stuck me with compliance, but it's not hard at all. We'll keep this short, simple, and sweet, I promise. But it's something that we all have to be aware of, right? Which is compliance, because as it shows here, with great power comes great responsibility. If you're thinking about like text messaging, right? It's one of the most intimate forms of communication. It's super invasive at times too, because text messages appear directly on a customer's phone when they're at home, when they're at work, whether they're sleeping, whether with their friends, their family. You know, it pulls up right on their phone throughout their, you know, while they're living their life. So it's super invasive. So it's important that, and we'll talk about TCPA, but we follow the rules and regulations when it comes to the power of SMS text messaging. It's unbelievable to me, like the things that we have, right? Like Shannon mentioned, it's a 99% open rate, right? It's cheap to do. Why aren't more people using it, right? And I think a big reason is because the myths that we're about to cover. People are scared to use it for a variety of reasons. One of them is SMS marketing always gets businesses in trouble, right? Is that true? Is it false? Well, what we've seen is absolutely it's false, right? This is not true. When it's used inappropriately, yes, there's some severe consequences, but if you use it with compliance, like laws, regulations, you are 100% okay. Okay, it's okay to do SMS text messaging because you're getting an approval from your customer to do it. Okay,
Yep.
so it's important to understand that they're giving you approval to do it. Another myth here: SMS marketing laws are too complicated to understand. No, not really, right? TCPA, which is what Shannon mentioned, is very easy to comply by, right? Obviously, you want to read through it and understand it from front and the back, and we're not here to tell you exactly what it all goes through, but what if we boil it down to the simple, it's you have to get an opt-in from a customer. If you get that opt-in, right, you can send SMS text messaging to them, okay?
Yep.
Oh, go ahead, Shannon.
I was just going to say, you might be wondering, well, like, how do I get opt-in? So Jason, do you want to talk through maybe a solution out there that could help them do that?
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about it, I think, later on, right, in the presentation, a lot of different ways to kind of get opt-ins. So if we can just
That's
put that on
true.
pause, Shannon,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
promise
yeah.
I'll cover it.
That's right. We do have a visual, I believe, in this deck. So sorry. Yeah, keep going.
We do. Yeah, I'll cover it. The next one is marketing. SMS marketing is spam. That's absolutely false. Like, SMS marketing is spam if you don't get a proper opt-in from the customer, right? If you're not getting the okay, it is wrong and you shouldn't do it. But if you are getting the okay, we're good to go. Bob, what do you think?
I was just going to say, what people don't realize either is that, you know, Europe is already ahead of us. The GDPR is where you have to get the ability to accept, you know, we're all getting crazy with accept cookies on every site, because this is the same idea that you can't just spam people and send whatever you want out. You've got to know that they've raised their hand and said yes. So if you're not doing that in your email, you never purchase lists. Repeat after me. I never will buy a list, because you're going to be in trouble. And it's the same thing here, that, you know, again, if Jane is a person and she knows your customer and she just wants to text them, well, that's one thing, but you're going to start doing marketing to them. It's quite another.
Yeah. And I'll just add as well, if you're thinking my customers don't want to hear from me in that way, think about this. There are businesses that I'm sure you love doing business with for whatever reason. You either love their price point, you love the experience they offer, you love their culture, you love the inventory they carry, whatever that is. If they're raising their hand and saying, I want to engage with this business, I want to know when they're running promotions, I want to know when there's a community event they're involved in, I want to support this business because they're an important business to me and I've had great experiences with them, that actually exists. And I know multiple businesses that I absolutely love that are local for me, including my bike shop, my favorite smoothie place. Like there's multiple businesses that I'm signed up to receive text alerts because I want to be in the know. I don't want to miss an opportunity to engage with the business when it makes financial sense, for example, for me.
You know, we have a few restaurants on this call as well, and grocery stores kind of things. And I know that I heard of one woman, and she talked about how her bread kept going stale. And instead, what she did is she just texts people out like, do you just want to know when I pull something out of the oven? Yeah. So the bread, you know, there's nothing like fresh baked bread. We all know that, right? And just understanding that little bit and saying, oh, that's a best practice. So knowing what really gets people going or something in limited amounts, it's not a matter of it's cheaper, you know, 5 cents off with this or $5. You're missing it. It's that immediacy that I think is what so many people miss when they're looking at being creative with texting.
Yep. They feel like they're getting insider information. Yep.
Absolutely. And here's a couple of things that we want to kind of highlight on these next 2 slides is some of the marketing pro tips and best practices. Obviously, first and foremost, we'll say it again, make sure you have proper consent. To Bob's point, don't buy lists. You want to market to customers who love you and are okay with you reaching out to them via this intimate channel. You want to mention your business name. I'll show you some other practices here going forward. Include the option to opt out. So although they opted out at one point, you're gonna, if they want to opt out, make sure that option is there. And then if they do, honor it. Do not send them anything again.
Yep.
Systems in place for this stuff is important, right? Instead of doing it manually, you want to make sure there's proper systems so you can do it easily and not have to think about who's opting in, who's opting out, and what you need to do.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. If you're not honoring those opt-outs, that's where that myth becomes a reality, because you're going to do more damage than good by continuing to market to them. They will stop coming into your store. So yeah, most strategically, just honor the opt-out.
Yeah, here's some obvious things, right? How to market like a human. Like today's consumers, they crave that personalization, right? So you always use their name in marketing campaigns. Specify what location it's for. There's a lot of different things you can do. Like if you have a good customer clientele, you can look at their last purchase. There's other things like a website journey. So if you understand where your customers are online, you can market directly to those individuals and what pages they're visiting the most. You can also do this with reviews, right? There's a lot of different ways you can market like a human and make it like it's a personalized experience. And I think that if you can couple that with the 99% open rate, with the low cost of SMS text messaging, you're going to hit it out of the park.
You know what I often hear, Jason, is, oh, I know my customers. I'm like, really? You do? Oh, yeah. That's why I didn't greet them, because in Sales RX, I teach them how to greet people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Oh, I know them. Oh, what's their first name? Well, I don't know that. Well, we should know your top, certainly 10 or 20% of your customers. If you can't greet them with the first name, hey, Shannon, then you don't know them. It should be good morning, good afternoon, good evening. But this is where you start from those people who know you best, who are top performers, that you could send like, hey, Jason, I noticed it's your birthday, because you're going to stalk your best people on LinkedIn or Facebook or somewhere, because you know that you get a lot of your money through the people who know you best. So Jason's going to be like, cool. It's not going to be this random blanket text that just goes out and everybody gets it. That's the key. That, yeah, there's more sophisticated marketing, campaigns and other things you can do, but just keeping it, just because I know some of you, you're kind of like, oh, well, all this stuff I could do. Yeah, you could just start off with what's going to keep me most focused, and it's to drive sales. Make no mistake, this is just a tool. It's just a shovel. You got to know what the hole is. You got to know what you're going to plant there. Otherwise, you're just saying, look at all the shovels I got. Like, yeah, what's the point? So maximizing those opt-ins and then being judicious when you do it is going to go a much further way than just saying, oh, I'll take my email and I'll send it out, right?
Yeah. Yep. And to that point, the hardest part I think about all this is getting those opt-ins from your customers, right? And you have to find ways to get opt-ins through multiple entry points. I think that's the key here. And if you go to the next slide, by maximizing your opt-ins, here are a few ways, right? Your website, right? If you have some sort of web chat there where they can actually communicate with you guys, right? And on there, you can actually opt in to future messaging, right? Upon a review request is one way that we do it. After getting payment from a customer, it's another way we do it, right? You can do it in person, obviously, and they come into the store, on social media posts. These are just different ways. On appointment follow-ups, if you're sending out appointment reminders, always find ways to get opt-ins from your customer. It has to be easy to do. It has to be a click. And if that's the key here, where I think Podium will thrive. It's just an easy way to get opt-ins from your customers.
And that idea of when you get an appointment follow-up, there's usually a little box now that you see in a lot of ones that just say, would you like an SMS reminder or whatever it is, and you just click that, and now they're into your system. It doesn't mean they're going to get a million texts. It just means you've given permission. But in the context of what they're doing, well, of course they're going to give you permission. It's not like I'm standing on the street corner. Jason, can you give me your cell phone number? Jason. Right. That's just not.
It's there to benefit the consumer, right, Bob? Exactly it.
And make more sales.
Awesome.
Let's make sure that's why we're doing this. All right.
Absolutely. This will bring more revenue for the store. Let's take a look at what good looks like, right? So there's a few cases we've had here from our customers. This is Pinky Palm. Obviously, it does a nice job here. It says, let me see if I can read this here. It's pretty small for me. It says, "Hi, Sadie. Hope you love your Pinky Palm sheets as much as we do. Take 40% off your next set through Friday on us. Text if you have any questions about our inventory." Obviously, they ask a question about it. Of course, we do. They're on their way. Yes, please. And obviously you can send a payment request and get paid right over a text message thread, the whole thing, right? So
wow, I hadn't seen that feature. That's really cool, because in that moment, I guess that's where I keep coming back to, Jason and Shannon. It's that immediacy, right? In that moment, you've got her. She says, yes, do you sell the pillow? It's coming in Thursday. Great, buy it. Notice in the old way, you would have had to say on a phone, so come in and visit us. Crickets.
Yep.
She comes in on Monday. Do you still have the pillow? Oh no, we sold those out. Man, I should have come in. Now you got it.
That's the key. Yep. Having the ability, and I know this conversation is not about text to pay and having that option within your text services, but it is an important aspect to exactly what Jason and Bob said, is being able to send that text link, collect that payment, and even for convenience, getting their address and shipping it out. And maybe you already have their address on file because they're a repeat customer. Even better. Now you don't even need to recollect the address. You can just say, are you still in Sandy, Utah? Yes, I am. Great. We'll ship those out to you right now. Now they don't need to come into the store. And it's not about, we know there's magic that happens in the store, but there also needs to be a balance of convenience. And if there's no need for Sadie to come into the store, she knows what she wants. And for convenience, you can just ship that out and take the payment, do it.
Yep.
Excellent. Let's keep going. We get a little
over
time.
Here's another example. Sam Cycling, right? Hey, Rachel, it's Sam Cycling. Celebrate our 8-year anniversary by taking 20% off your purchase. Feel free to text any questions. Are the bikes included? Sure are. Are you looking to come in and look at one?
Dude, are you just showing ways to give money away? Like, do you have anything else that's not a discount?
That's a good question. Let's see if there is another one. No,
you just go through the next one, dude. Just go through the next one.
Yeah, the next one's a discount too. So we can move
go to
on.
the next one, please, Shannon.
That's it.
Jeez.
Bob, that's okay. So, discounts happen, right? Promotions.
Yeah, well, they can. But so those of you who are watching this live, do me a favor. Type in, what could you text your customer right now? What could you type? What could you text them that might get them to come in that's not discount oriented? Best person that does it and stays to the end, I got a prize for you. So type in while Jason is still talking. What's one thing what could you type in there to get their attention and from your store? So I'm going to be watching that. Take it away, Jason.
Cool. I'll actually take this. Yeah, I'll take this. So we've been talking about, the SMS marketing ability, and there are a lot of solutions out there. We wanted to share with you a little bit about Podium's solution. And we do encourage you to shop around, but we're going to share a couple things that make Podium unique and, well, I should say uniquely set up to help you be successful in SMS marketing. So we do have within the Podium Hub a very simple way to build text campaigns. And what's nice is if your company has been collecting opt-ins earlier on before maybe joining Podium, you can upload all of your opt-ins in a CSV file into Podium. So you don't need to start over on collecting opt-ins. So I just wanted to highlight that. And then Jason alluded to this, but for those of you that are not familiar with Podium, the reason we are uniquely set up to be successful in this is we not only are engaging with your customers via text to collect review invites. Right after that review is left, a screen comes up on their phone that says opt in to receive special announcements, alerts, promotions, all of that fun stuff. And then also Podium has a feature called Podium Web Chat, where it's sitting on the website and it turns their questions instantly into a text. In that flow, when you're putting in the name, phone number, email address, that gives an authorization to opt in for SMS marketing. So in that touch point, you're also collecting opt-ins. As we showed you on a previous slide, we have a feature called Podium Payments. When you're texting a customer back and forth, if they know what they want to purchase, you can send them that payment link really easily and they can pay right then and there. After they pay, a screen pops up similar to the review feature that asks them if they want to opt in. So those are just some examples where within Podium's current feature set, we are going to be helping you collect opt-ins along the way to get as many for you as possible. So as you're shopping for other solutions, make sure you're asking, like, how are you helping me collect opt-ins? Because that is, to Jason's point, the hardest part. And then another piece is, as far as a differentiator, is continuing that conversation from the same inbox. So one of Podium's value adds is that all of your customer communication flows into one inbox, and that includes your SMS marketing. And it also includes all your social media messages. We even have emails flowing in as a channel, your web chat messages, your Google My Business messages. They're all flowing into one easy to manage inbox. So that's just another differentiator, what makes it really easy for you to manage as a business owner. So if you're interested in learning more, again, this is not here just to say you should just sign up for Podium, although we feel like we are the best solution out there. Do your homework. But if you are interested in learning more about Podium campaigns and seeing a demo of it, I'm going to include in here, Bob, the landing page that we have for you as a partner of ours. I'm going to stop screen sharing for a minute so I can get back to the chat feature.
So I'm going to comment on some of the chats. So here's what I want you to think, because you all have great ideas. You're just not specific enough, right? So if you're going to say we have a new handbag in, then you really need to say we have a new Hammett handbag in that's black with a pearl rivets, and I think you'll really like it. The generic is what we want to leave behind. That's fine for email because you can throw a picture in. But I think when it gets down to our to a text, it really is being really hyper focused on that one individual. So if I know that Shannon's obviously wears glasses, so if I knew that Shannon, collects glasses or any number of things, then it would be totally appropriate to say, hey, Shannon, I know you love those, there's probably a name for them. Jason, I would just call them brown glasses, but and we just have a new turquoise that would probably match your car. If you really knew, that's the granular power of SMS marketing to me, is that you really are focusing it so that it's not generic. We just got some new stuff in. I'm not going to come in for that. Yeah. But hey, Bob, we just got a triple chocolate strawberry Robert Graham shirt in that I know will look great for your next speech. I'm at least opening it and I'm like, these people are awesome. That's what we're going for, is awesome, not generic. And that's why I wanted to be here on this call, because I'm just passionate about retail. I think you're all passionate about it. You wouldn't be on this call with us. But Podium and these type of solutions really help you elevate being creative. And if you don't feel creative, hire someone who is, or find the guy that you fired or the young one who you fired before because they weren't focused enough, and just say, could you come up with some creative ideas for this? And then just start collecting them. And here's the other thing, that once you've done it in Podium, you can say that worked really well. And now you copy and paste and say, this is our 10 standard things we're going to do reaching out. But I think the idea of just doing the same thing is it's just bland and boring, and you can do it. Dawn is a dog lover too. Fabulous. All right, that's good, Dawn.
All of us are, I believe. Jason, you're a dog lover.
Of course.
I'm a
Marty, you say, but what if you have 1,200 on your text list? It's harder to be specific. So I would spend the time, if it was me, to really cut and dice that. because I'm telling you, I have a lot of promotions. In fact, if you don't know, I'm going to be doing a Facebook challenge, how to get a kick-ass team to open their hearts and sell like never before, April 19th to 23rd. People who are highly qualified in my system are going to get that. My customers aren't going to really get that because they're already on SalesRx. Why would they do it? And then there's another one that we're doing later, but it's all about being granular. That's what the difference in 2021 is. The spread it out and say, just shoot the confetti in the air and see where it lands is not what this is about. This is actually being able to say, I know you, Dawn, you're a dog lover. And that little bit is what's got to turn. Here's what's changed in retail. I was on LinkedIn this morning and this guy's like, everything has changed and never will work again. I was like, that is just BS, dude. Retail is about excellent, being brilliant on the basics. Yeah. It's engaging a human being in a different way. Yeah, you might have to do it by text, might do it by email, might do it by call. But when people come in, it's that idea of saying, I see you, Shannon, Jason, Tony, Alex. I don't see everyone, and I don't have to wait in my store. You know, when it's dead now, I can go through and be doing these kind of things to get ahead of it instead of waiting and saying, oh, it's dead, or letting my kids say it's dead, or worse, yeah, it's dead. Wonder what's going on TikTok, right?
Yeah, Bob, I want to add a few things because this is important. I love the level of personalization you're talking about. And if they can do that, if these guys on this call can make that happen, that is absolutely the route to go. I want to share some other ideas. So like Marty mentioned, she has phone numbers, but she doesn't know who's on the other end. If you're using a company like Podium, you have their name and we store that for you. And then if you're using Podium campaigns, we will have, it makes it really easy to send the text and it will include the name of the user. So if you think about it, when they are asking a question on your web chat, they're putting in their name, their phone number, and their question, and Podium stores that for you. So now you do know their name and you can involve that information in Podium campaigns. And then what's going to make it really exciting, back to your earlier point, Marty, about you have 1,200, how are you going to personalize? Podium's working on integrations with some of the major CRMs that are out there. Once you have that, you can segment quite a bit in your campaigns. For example, you could target repeat customers and be specific. I want to send this to somebody who's purchased from me, 3 times in the last year, or somebody who's purchased from me in the last 30 days. Or maybe your strategy is, I want to send this to somebody who hasn't been back with me for a year. So it pulls the sales information. So it is, Podium is opting them into. Yep. So it really is going to get very personalized. To Bob's point, it's going to be a lot easier for you once Podium gets those integrations with the CRMs.
And to bring it all the way back to what we started out with, because you've stayed on here for over 30 minutes, and I really appreciate you. You've all hung in there, by the way. Congratulations, all the hundreds of you. I appreciate that. But we talked earlier about, like Shannon said, you're going to probably be at the forefront of this. And so there's a lot of things that you can do. I just want to get your attention to the possibilities around personalization are what makes it so different, and being able to say that. And a CRM is a customer relationship management system. It's like HubSpot. You might be able to think of it as like, you might have MailChimp, you might have some other ones where it's about a way of tracking your customers. And if you don't have that, you need to, because your competitor down the street is just as likely to have it as Amazon or Walmart or Target or anyone else. So all of that is important. Shannon, you already got that about the integration with Shopify. That's fabulous. Michelle, we just got a necklace with an ox for Chinese New Year for $95 with your necklace. Here's a picture. I love that. I would just say be a little bit more flirtatious. Hey, Michelle, we just got a necklace with an ox for Chinese Lunar New Year. Would you like to see it? That's how I would rather do it, because I want a conversation. I don't want a spray and hope something happens. I think that's the key. Yes, in campaigns and other things. Am I off script? Is this still working for you too?
Yeah, no.
Right. So I think in campaigns, there are places for that, but you're trying to get your feet wet. Just realize that the more human you are in your intention, like, how do I get these people who shop with me 3 times last year to come back? Instead of saying, oh, and I need to give them 30% off. Well, what the hell's the point of that? You might as well stand on your front door and just say, here's $30. Will you come in the door? Whereas if you just took a little time and you knew that Jason was a cat lover and he had 15 of them at home, he's a softie. And you could say, Jason, are you up for one more? Or, I've got a stray. If you're an animal shelter, I've got one stray that could use a foster home. Wow, you would have made Jason's day. But instead, we'd be like, we got a lot of adoptions. And Jason's not reading that, and now he's not really responding. And I think that's the challenge also, Shannon, Jason. Maybe you can speak to that. And then I want to open it up for any other questions. By the way, if you have questions right now, put them in the Q&A or put them in the chat. And then just tell me one thing. If you don't have any of that, tell me one thing you got out of this call, the Zoom meeting today. Just put it in the chat bar below. What's one thing you got out of being on the call with us for the last half hour? Or if there's a question, that's fine as well. But and I lost my train of thought. So I wanted both of you to talk about something.
No, this is good. I think so. Just to jog your memory, so you wanted everyone to include one thing they took away from the webinar that they didn't already know.
Yeah, but I was on a roll before I got to that, and then I was like, "Got to keep them engaged. Got to keep them engaged. I got it." So now they're chatting in, so that's good.
They're trying to jog your memory. These are some great attendees.
The animal rescue and making. Lori, you can use with Podium. There is a way you can actually use your landline for using that. And I won't kid you, it's not cheap. You're not free. It's like me. I'm not cheap. But if you want to have someone take it away from you and say, I've done all the hard part, all you have to do is this. That's why I use Podium on my site.
Yeah, it's not the cheapest option out there, but I promise you get what you pay for, and it more than pays for itself in the amount of revenue it will drive you. I can say that with confidence.
Sandra, the open rate of text is amazing. Yeah, it definitely is. I think that's what I was saying. There's just that being more genuine is what we're looking at. And so that little bit to get in a dialogue with a customer is so much better than like, hey, come in. Because I think that's where, the sweet spot is going to be. There's going to be retailers. Think about them right now. If you got a text from Lululemon, if you were the customer, would one of their customers, would you open it? I'll bet you would.
Oh yeah.
Walgreens, 30% off this week only. Maybe not. Because there's just, let's put it out there. Yeah. So the more you can make it fabulous and small and intimate, I think that's the best way that you could start out with it. And then again, to your point, bring them all into one place.
Yep.
Frequency, how much is too much, Charlotte asks?
Oh yeah, good question. So I can just speak to the research we've done and what we've decided to put a cap on, but this is something where you can definitely overuse it. I think you're all aware of that. And if you're overusing it, you will start getting a lot more opt-outs. So the number that we have landed on and the max that you can send out through Podium is 10 campaigns a month. And that even feels high. But if, for example, there's one that you're running that's a really big sell for you guys, for example, I know Bob doesn't want to talk about sales, but if you want to give like a 72, 48, 24 countdown, then that's a better way of then just sending 10 different campaigns out. So we do allow up to 10. 10's the number.
And the question is the opt-in legislation for just the US or Canada too? I guess that's compliance. Is that?
Yeah, we talk about TCPA in the USA. Canada is a little bit different, so I would consult. I don't know the details on Canada too well.
Yeah, you can just Google text guidelines in Canada, and you'll get the official information there.
It's very similar.
But so, Lori, I saw your question around, do most businesses have a separate dedicated cell phone? We would highly recommend you just use your business landline. It gets very confusing when you have multiple numbers. What's really nice is when a customer is getting a message from your business landline and they can see that's your number on Google. This is absolutely this business texting me. There's no question. It is reputable. And so we would highly recommend use a company that can make your business landline textable instead of giving you another number, which Podium can do.
All right. So anyone else? What else did you learn today? What else did you learn today? Come on. We have open rates are high. One thing, the open rate of text is amazing. To collect contact information for opt-ins, to receive it. Can we use we got that. SMS is very efficient. Okay. Be personal, be specific and human. Jessica, you totally rock that. Thank you very much. Okay. We have that. How many characters are the most effective? Charlotte's asking.
160. is what we encourage everyone to stay under. You don't need to use all 160, but definitely don't go longer than that. It's a text. It should be short, simple, and sweet. And what's really nice about that is if you're a business and you're investing a lot of time making a really pretty email, for example, think about the time saving in SMS marketing. It really is just a simple, quick message. There's no visuals. You don't have to make it pretty. It just needs to be creative in language, and boom, it sends. So 160 or less.
Good point. Ben King with King Music. Good to see you here, former SalesRx user. Can you see the SalesRx Sprint? Can you see the list of customers that have opted in for your campaigns? I have not been able to find this list if it does.
Yeah, Ben, I'm going to guess you're a Podium customer, and you're exactly right. Right now, you can't see the opt-ins. However, you can call into Podium and somebody can look that up for you. We're working on that so that you can see access to all of your opt-ins, because for any of you who are Podium clients who haven't started paying for campaigns, Podium's actually collecting opt-ins on the background for you. Where it comes in is if you start paying for Podium campaigns, we then give you access to start sending campaigns out to that group. So we'll be helping you collect opt-ins on the background in the hopes that you'd want to take advantage of this tool.
Excellent. And Lisa says, if the purpose is send very specific text, how does texting individual customers on your own differ than texting customers through Podium? The number one way, Lisa, is it's not part of, it's a personal communication between me and Lisa versus me and John Shoe Store, so that anyone can pick that up. You know, trucks drive on the freeway. What if Lisa's got sick and she can't come in? That text is lost. You don't know what happened. And worse, what happens if it was a customer problem and nobody saw it and nobody answered it because it was on her thing? So that's number one. Doug says, excellent point, Shannon, Jason, Bob, Board Retailer Associated Cloud, that Podium provides these outstanding resources. Bob, your perspective is always awesome. Thank you. That's because I don't want to give any money away. I want to go through and make you more money to live the life you want. And if you're passionate about brick and mortar retail and you've been following me for a long time, you know that never ebbs. I don't give a damn what they're telling you tomorrow. Oh, 100,000, 800,000, 1 million people are going to close their door. Yeah, well, it doesn't affect me because I'm looking forward. And the more you can think about it, the more you can say, this is what a differentiating point will be from my brand, then you truly can work on creating an exceptional experience. Final thoughts, Shannon, Jason, anything you want to add?
I don't know that we answered Neil's question, so I'm going to answer it really quick. If a person responds to your text, does that count against your 10? So it's 10 campaigns going out. You can have every single person respond to you. That's totally fine. It's just sending out that campaign is one. So that answers that. Final thoughts, don't wait on doing this. Like I said, 12% of businesses at best are doing this today. So you guys can be early adopters and innovate and get in while it's still not being leveraged. So
and then before Jason says anything, so how'd you like it? Put in the numbers, 1 to 5, 5 being best. What, was this worth your time today? Think of how many places you could have spent your time. You spent it with us. Why?
Nice.
Figuring out how to do it.
There's a lot of 5s going on. I think they're being nice.
All right, Jason, you have to have the perfect way to wrap this up.
I'll leave the last word to you, Bob. I'm just grateful I'm here for you guys. I mean,
oh, what a guy.
I did see one on there that said, hey, I'm like a T-Rex trying to adapt to technology. Don't think of it that way. Like, this is super easy stuff. We did all the hard things on the background to make it easy for you guys. Don't be afraid of this. Embrace it.
So Neil, you have the best comment to end our time together. I bet the next Podium presentation won't be all discounts.
Yeah, that's true.
Neil, my podcast best. And by the way, Dawn Vandeveer, you get an autographed copy of my book today. So you should be in my list. And if, gosh forbid, you're not, just send an email to Bob at Retail Doc, and I will send you an autographed copy of your book because you joined in. So remember, whenever you're going through and you're on a webinar, a do-inar as this is, let's do something with it. Make sure you're engaged, show up, ask questions. When they ask you to chat, do something, but engage the mind. Otherwise, what the hell are we doing here? We can change the world by the people working and shopping in retail. And I appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much, Shannon. Thank you so much, Jason, for joining us. And we'll look forward to hearing of your success. By the way, at the end of this, I will send you a recording and you'll be able to follow up with Shannon or Jason to find out more about their solution as well. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bob.